Welcome to it, welcome to it, welcome to it. It is time for the invasion, the youngest lunch hour drive to be exact, with myself, Upiwe, Amanda Wagwadziba, holding it down from now until we take it to the third hour. And also thank you to True for holding it down this morning between the hours of 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Sit again, MOT, the moment of truth. And on that note, all the way from Ekabecha, Port Elizabeth to be exact, we are joined by Uputu Komgwe. Can see our reactions or time. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful very hot day and mfuna ungayithethi bangabe kushushu kakhulu namhlanje kodwa ke sizayikroba ke imozulu yethu just a bit later on. Nonetheless, today it is Tuesday, #Frank Talks ke apho sincokola about anything and everything. It is the perfect platform whereby you are able to voice out izinto mhlambe ezingaphakathi ezikusindayo bawula ukuthetha ngazo. So we give you that opportunity to be able to send through a voice note mhlambe ke okanye usibhalele bangaba ke intoni na bawula siku ngayo. As well as it is almost the end of November. It is the 29th namhlanje ngomso sivala le nyanga kaNovember sizawuqala entsha ngolwesine sizawuthi ke December. And I know a lot of people are really excited about December. I think nabanye ke sebe ready for sign leave zabo zakulo nyaka. And I don't even blame them. I actually do not blame anyone who's ofuna ufaka leave. It's been a really long year. Sitting that one we cannot run away from. Sit anywhere. It's been a very, very, very tiring year, and more than anything, I think we all deserve a break. And on that note, omnye umbala ke engemhle manitshitshe outfits ke kule weekend sisuka kuyo kwiBhelo November bendikhe ndamtitshe joined by the gorgeous Sihlanga Bethuna isithi ke yena somehow she's sending me love. She's sending me love. Oh, ndiyayithanda ke mina ke love. One thing about me, you looked gorgeous ke sisi this weekend. Sikuthe kwiBhelo November ke thina. Nonetheless, man, looking at it is exactly 28 minutes after 12 o'clock. We're left with about 31 minutes to get to the top of the first hour on a Tuesday, a very hot Tuesday to be exact. And also not forgetting, that is going to be Let's Drive with Lutando Mnandi. And I'm not so sure what they have packed for us today, but I hope there is a DJ that will be coming through. November, Silindele, December, Yona Nyanga Inkulu. Yona Nyanga at the same time in been a caution. I do understand that this year it's actually going to be more of a new year. December because there has been COVID, there has been the lockdown, so it's been really tough over the past 2 years. So I feel as if now December, a lot of people just want to go out, people want to travel, and I do not blame them. And at the same time, but we also really are excited. It's going to be December that is going to be different. December is let's talk a bit more about that just a bit later on. But from 3 to 6, don't forget. It is exactly 31 minutes after 12 o'clock, and we are looking at exactly 28. So we take it to the top. It's time for us to look at today's weather report brought to you by the South African Weather Services. Popular cities Bambe Amaqondo Atinina. Alexandria today heading off with 21 degrees. Bloemfontein with 23 degrees. We have Ipochabelo with 25 degrees. KwaMhlabelingane, Thekwini, Durban, that is today heading off with 25 degrees. Ekholi, Johannesburg, 21 degrees. The city of Gold, to be exact, and also Kimberley, 29 degrees. At Port Elizabeth, looking at 21 degrees, and also Rotterport today heading off with 21. Moving right along towards Springs, we have 20 degrees. Umlazi, 25 degrees. Benoni, 20 degrees. Boxburg, 20 degrees. And also looking at Cape Town, we have 24 degrees. Germiston, Conagate with 21 degrees. Kempton Park, 21 degrees. PMB, Pietermaritzburg, 25 degrees. Pretoria with 22 degrees. A bit cloudy that side. Kosoweto, 21 degrees. Itembisa with 20 degrees. And also Frenegikona Namhlanje with 24 degrees. And that is your weather report for today, brought to you by the South African Weather Services. That is definitely your weather report, and hoping Bangabake, if you are within Elikala Litanuk Mashush, especially within East London and Sakronga, please make sure that you stay hydrated. Summer is definitely here and it's showing us flames already. So please stay there. Make sure that you stay hydrated and you are not within Ikala Elinelanga. Okay. Looking at some good news, I was seeing a headline actually in Namhlanje that really made me smile. Good news is South Africa's unemployment rate improves. Now, when was the last time we actually heard some good news when it came to indaba ezidibanisa nezoqesho apha eMzantsi Afrika? Kutshiwo uba ngaba the official unemployment rate declined further to 32.9% in the third quarter of 2022 from 33.9% in the second, as well as Statistics South Africa reported namhlanje. Kuthiwa ke unemployment hit a record high of 35.3% in the fourth quarter of 2021. The quarterly labor force survey shows that 204,000 jobs were gained between the second as well as the third quarter of 2022. I repeat, Uchubanga Bage stats from the quarterly labor force service 204,000 jobs have been gained between the second as well as the third quarter of 2022. And also the largest job gains were manufacturing plus minus 123,000, trade plus we're looking at 82,000, construction plus minus 46,000, transport we're looking at plus minus 33,000. Kwakhona kuthiwa job losses were, however, recorded in the finance sector with about 80,000, the private households, 36,000, as well as mining and agriculture, we're looking at 1,000. Statistics South Africa is meant to collect data on the employment status of 33,000 households, which is to determine a job loss, in fact, even the jobless rates for, we're looking at about 40 million adults in the country. But however, it contacted fewer than 14,300 households, and the interviews were actually done telephonically, not face to face as before the pandemic. And I think even now, majority of abantu, if you're very far, you're able to even do those interviews still now virtually. And I think we asked not actually under COVID, singabikho in contact makes life easy. I think it's the new thing now. When you have your meetings, you necessarily not have to mitibane, you can do it virtually. Also, going to get the start of this year, however, in-person interviews resumed. We know that there's COVID iphelile, singekhona lockdown anymore, so interviews are now done personally. But also, Talking News 24 previously reported that the head of Statistics Council, the advisory board to Statistics South Africa raised the alarm about the quality of unemployment data. But at least some good news. We're looking at, South Africa's unemployment rate, which is definitely improved. The official unemployment rate declined further to 32.9% in the third quarter of 2022 from 33.9% in the second, statistics had reported. So unemployment hit a record high of 0.3% in the fourth quarter of 2021. So definitely some good news, as well as still hoping banoko unemployment rating decrease, as well as bantwana bakwazi uqeshwa, especially abo bakulonyaka uzayo who are going to be looking for jobs, bathi bephuma esikolweni bengasikenyani ke umntu abe nento to fall back on rather than actually staying at home with that diploma, with that degree, ibe khona ke into azakwazi ukuya kuyo. Kodwa ke some headlines that I'm going to be reading out. Namhlanje kuthiwa ke racist pit bull rant. We don't want to be associated with people like that. Landlord evicts. Oh, that's about very tricky, but it isn't okay. So things that are definitely trending ezenzekayo namhlanje. But amongst other things, something a bit lighter today, being the 29th of November, it is actually National Chocolate Day. And I was saying that earlier on, namhlanje bangabake, hey, inene kangendiyazi bangabake, it is actually National Chocolate Day because wow, I think it's been a stressful weekend for me, and even yesterday was so stressful. So this morning when I got to work, I was just like, can you chocolate, something that's just going to lift my spirits up. So as I was doing a bit of research, I'm like, I'm on the right track. I'm planning it is National Chocolate Day. So make sure that your friend or your loved one, a special gift. It is National Chocolate Day if you did not know today. So make sure that somebody, or in fact, get it for yourself, something nice to make you feel really, really, really good. But so do I see all the way from Western Cape corner, and you are reacting, who said, and that makes me get the feels of Bangabake. You're going to be giving us the headlines of Bangabake Corner 20 in Leo. I'll wait for you. I'll give you just a few minutes just to give us a little update. But also at the same time, good, bad, and ugly, how South Africa's fight against gender based violence and femicide is going. We're talking between April 2020 and September 2020, 988 women were killed by their intimate partners, police data has shown. Also, at about the same time, the government achieved just 1 in 5 of the targets in its action plan to fight against gender based violence as well as femicide. Also, because women's rights activists say a national council that was meant to be set up to tackle GBVF is still not up and running 4 years since it was promised. Kutage, an earlier version of the Anti-GBV Council was tried in 2012 and was supposed to manage the rollout of the 365-day National Action Plan to End Gender-Based Violence, which was launched in 2007. But this time around, we're going to get two voluntary bodies with the NGBVF Collective as well as the GBVF Response Fund were established to get the ball rolling, while the government put out the legal framework in place for setting up the new incarnation of the council. The good, the bad is that the missing billion and a bit activists at the summit said they were actually disheartened that the government officials couldn't say what had happened to 1.6 billion that President Cyril Ramaphosa had set out in 2019. And looking at the ugly, go target a decade without answers. One of the reasons the new council has not been up and set up and running is that they need well-resourced structures, and something that actually ill-fated back in 2012, basically being promised izinto zingathi. At the same time, we're looking at very ugly stories, and I'm even looking at izinto up, even the stats as of Israel. So once more again, and then sekubi, the good, the bad, as well as the ugly. How South Africa's fight against GBV and femicide is definitely going. It's really sad, man. It's really sad. It's really sad. But nonetheless, looking at time, there's exactly 39 minutes actually after 12 o'clock, looking at 20 and a half to take it to the top of the hour, welcoming you to the Valley of the Gods in Eneke, giving you your news updates with regarding what is happening where. And on that note, we have also joining us, City. Hey, Piwe. Ndikhona nam ibuhlungu le nto yenzeke eMdantsane kusoleke komkhwetha kuthiwa ke oogqirha bathe akazungena abazali bamoluse ngenkani nali gqiyazana elina-37 elityiwe ziipitbull ezintathu. Inene zimbini ke stories that we have here. Sokuqala utshilo ke uSodu uba ngaba ke ibuhlungu le nto yenzeke eMdantsane kusweleke umkhwetha kuthiwe oogqirha bathe akazungena abazali bamolusa ngenkani. And also looking at the second headline is we have Igqiyazana Elina 37 elityiweke ziipitbull ezintathu. Indeed, these are very, very sad stories that we're reading at this moment. Now I see why you so reacted with a sad face on our Facebook page. Some of these stories we'll definitely be talking as well as ironing them more just a bit later on. Because you're Fuman and Jay Amanzi, as well as let's just quickly go and pay the bills.